It's Vanessa, and welcome to the October 2021 energy read. Now, if you're finding this video at any other point in time, please keep tuning in because what that means is there's relevant information for you in this video and what I'm about to share today. Now, with these monthly energy reads, I'd like to focus on three kind of collective themes that are coming up and will be more easily accessible and just in our awareness. And as we become aware of this larger energetic context, we know how to better navigate our own personal lives as well as the larger world and how we move through the world and interact with people and do our good work in the world. So it's my intention here that you continue to refine your own read of the energy, up your level of discernment, and amplify and accelerate your intuitive abilities. Now, these videos are especially prepared for those that are energetically sensitive, energetically aware, or energetically curious, right? You may also be an empath, very highly likely, because empaths tend to be the filters for the collective energy of humanity. So we feel it quite deeply when there's a lot of energy moving around. Now, for those of you that don't know me yet, again, my name is Vanessa. I am an energy guide and spiritual mentor for the Rising New Earth leaders, healers, teachers, and messengers. For those of us that are here to seed change and really birth the paradigm shift that we are currently in the midst of. So thank you all for being here and for tuning in. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and get started with the three themes that are coming in for October 2021. Now, briefly, actually, before I hop into that, I do want to say check out the video from September because September and October are very intertwined energetically. Just think of it like a figure eight. They're very intertwined. And so what I talked about in the September video is very foundational for the energy that will kind of be moving through in October. And so I'll put a link to that in the description box below. So make sure that you check that out as well. And then all the goodies to find out more about, what I'm up to and what I offer in the world. And if I could be of service to you on your path in your soul-driven mission work in the world, go have a look at the description box below. All right, now officially we're gonna get started with the October read of the energy. So the first theme coming through had to do, with moving my hair of my face. It has to do with the power of three. And I thought that was kind of interesting because it's a bit of a, when that dropped in, I thought, what does that mean exactly? And then what I was shown is that there's many different ways to interpret that statement. And that is why the theme is emerging for us. Because we are, as individual beings and as a collective, looking to feel a sense of deep connection and rootedness in our own power, as an individual being and as someone, as, a human that is also connected to the earth below you as well as connected to source above you, right? So we are divinity walking around in these human bodies. It's our little mini God experience. And so connecting in with that is highly, highly important. And so the power of three and the way that it was shown to me is as we use these sort of examples and tools that I'm about to share with you around the power of three, what it's going to do is activate your sense of power in a new way. It's going to give you a sense of feeling very connected with your own inner wisdom. It's going to activate your inner healing process. It's going to get you more, I would say, in direct alignment with your soul family, right? So we incarnate in groups, and those of us that are in this this soul family group, we're all on a similar mission, right? We all each have our own unique ways of expressing that and creating that in the world, but we're all here for this overall paradigm shifting mission. At least my soul family is. And if you're watching this, I'm sure it applies to you as well. So um, that's kind of the backdrop context of what this power of three will do for you, this theme as it's moving through this month. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how you can use the power of three in your day-to-day life to create those outcomes that I just demonstrated or just shared with you. So one way is to repeat something 3 times. So that's one example. Repeat something 3 times. So you can find a word that feels really uplifting, resonant, of a higher frequency, makes you feel open, expanded, spacious, grounded, rooted, connected. Like you find a word. Language is so powerful. It's alchemy. You're going to hear me talk about this quite a lot in the coming months and years. And you probably already have, actually, if we have any kind of connection before this video. And so you're going to find a word that really resonates you and repeat it 3 times. So that's one way to use the power of 3. And again, it's going to just elevate your frequency, your sense of well-being, your connection to source, align you with your power, your path. So for example, one of my favorite words is choice, because I love freedom and I love choice. And so choice, choice, choice. I love the word grace. Grace is like, I just feel softer saying it. I feel softer and nourished and protected and really taken care of. I love, whatever word you want to use for the great mystery and the cosmic soup that we're swimming in. We are absolutely divine beings. I personally like to use the word God without any religious affiliate, connection there. I love to use that word. But you can use source or universe, and you can repeat that 3 times. But that's what grace evokes for me. Grace, grace, grace. Choice, choice, choice. So that's one way to work with the power of 3. Another way is to make a statement of 3 words, right? So I am loved. I feel strong. I am clear. Right? There's something about the succinctness of a very short phrase that really kind of clears out, because we have a lot of stories, right? we create a lot of stories around what we're experiencing, thinking, or feeling. And those stories are often connected to traumas and triggers and imprints and narratives that aren't necessarily liberating for us. They tend to be more limiting in nature. And so we're essentially in many ways retraining our lens of focus, our perspective, our inner storyline that we kind of have on default that just sort of loops in our head. And that's one really powerful way to do that. So again, the power of 3-word phrases that you can do. Another way to work with the power of 3 is a triangle, right? So you can draw a triangle, you can hold your hands in the shape of a triangle, but a triangle creates like a powerful and concentrated grid. So you can even imagine that there's a triangle grid from different points on the planet, right? So currently I'm up in Europe, could be, somewhere down in like the South Pacific, and then over in South America, I could create this beautiful triangle. And inside that triangle, there could be this incredible light just bursting forward. Or I can imagine that everyone inside this triangle is healed and whole. Or I can imagine that everyone inside this triangle is waking up to their own sense of power and well-being in the world, right? So there's many ways that you can work with grids, and the the triangle is a very powerful one, right? So you can also use the power of three. I'm going to give you one more example in a very similar way as the Holy Trinity. Now, I don't have any background in religion. I was not raised, with any particular religion, but um, my relationship with God and with the divine is very just unique and private and special for me. And so my association with the Holy Trinity in my mind would be um, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and source at the top, right? So there's different ways that you can work with that. Now, if you don't want to put any of those types of words around it, you can put three words that are really powerful for you. So choice, grace, and freedom on each of those points, given the examples that we use today, right? So those are ways that you can work with the power of three. And as you do that, what that does is it refines you energetically. It begins to transform and alchemize any of the kind of lower frequency or densities or fear stories that you may have that are influencing you and, kind of scaring you. Everybody wants to feel safe and secure and empowered, and ideally, right? And so that is one of the ways to kind of hold this in your heart as you think of the power of three. And so the reason it's coming through as an energetic theme is because we are being asked very strongly in October to use our tools. I'm going to say that again. We are being asked very strongly in October to use our tools. And this is a very potent one. And because it's coming up, it means it's even more potent than it already is, right? It already has more potency behind it than it normally would. So there's an opening for extra support, right? So that's the first theme coming through for October. The second theme, and all of these themes are very spiritual in nature, which is a little maybe different than I have shared in the past, but it's what's coming through. And I trust my read of the energy. It has been incredibly life-saving, like literally to trust my read of the energy. And so it's part of my larger goal here with you is to help you cultivate the trust of your own read of energy. It will be indispensable as life continues. So the second piece has to do with spiritual consistency. Now, if you've ever tried to change anything about your life, like no matter what the area is, you need consistency. Like there's a commitment that needs to kind of settle into the cells of your body, into your spirit, where you say, okay, I'm going to, commit to this. And then you therefore take consistent and aligned intuitive action towards whatever that is, whether it's like working out or eating well or being kind to yourself or to other people, like whatever it is. So consistency is super important. It's a great muscle to build. I am building it right now myself, which is like a kind of a new experience for me. And to report from the field, it's going well and things work a lot better when you're consistent. But the theme has to do with spiritual consistency. So this is about really developing consciously developing your connection with the divine. Whatever you want to call it and however you experience it. So you have just your own very specific and unique reference point, right? For how you talk about the divine, how you experience the divine, the stories you tell yourself about your connection with the divine. I mean, many people I know that are that aren't really like opening up possibilities for themselves, they often talk about how things are not working. it's not happening, it's not working, don't feel connected, don't really sense my intuition, don't, not. So this is about like moving the conversation in a different direction and beginning to tune into how you are. And so with consistency, you can actually quantify and qualify your experience of the divine, your relationship with that, right? What's it feel like? What's it look like? What's your, you know, the narrative and the story that you're telling around your experience with the divine? What are some examples where you have felt divinely guided? Um, you know, how do you experience yourself as a spiritual being, having a human, you know, body? It's a total adventure, right? Just like say the least. So the second theme of October is really developing your spiritual consistency and exploring what that means for you. The intent behind that, again, is to stabilize your system, right? So no matter what's going on externally in the world or whatever's going on externally in your life, you're steady on the inside. And so as you steady and stabilize your system, what you do is you strengthen yourself. And no matter what your path is in life, and no matter what you're here to create, the stronger you are on the inside, the more things flow. And I know that you've experienced flow at some point in your life. So this is a way to cultivate more flow, because that is a really, it's just a lovely, you know, feeling to experience. The more that we can do that, especially in challenging times, right? I am not into spiritual bypassing or like fake spirituality, fake like positivity. I'm about being real, like wholeness, real. So if you are having a challenging time, physically, emotionally, mentally, the spiritual consistency is going to help you ride that wave with more grace and more ease and more flow. It doesn't mean everything's going to feel good all the time. It might feel really crappy and it might be really messy. I don't know. I can't speak to your experience, but I know that spiritual consistency, it will help. So that is the second theme for October. And the third theme is, how do I best describe this? We're just going to describe it as clunky. like you know, when you're on a roller coaster and you are you know, there's the climb as you go up on a roller coaster, where you're kind of anticipating, a little bit scared, like, oh my god, how is this going to feel to go down? And then you get over the hump, and you kind of, they make you rest at the top, very top, like for a hot minute, where you get even more anxious. It's so crazy, like what we seek to like get these adrenaline rushes. And then you go down, right? And then that's exhilarating and scary and all of that. But there's these places on the roller coaster ride where it's like it's like a like you're just, you, it's very jerky and clunky, and you're like, your whole body is just like, ugh, what just happened? Like, what is going on? So that kind of feeling is going to be one of the hallmark energies of October, for better and for worse, right? So it's not real, it's not I would say it's not a judgment on whatever the energy is going to be. It could be great or it could be incredibly challenging, but it's more the undercurrent underneath of like unexpected clunk to the side, which is why spiritual consistency is really helpful, and why using the power of 3 in the moment when you're feeling that clunk is like, oh, okay, centering, or okay, centering, right? So it's gonna be a little clunky in October, and like rerouting. It's like a rerouting of paths, and so This has been something that I saw back in early September, but I had a conversation with one of my mentors yesterday, and she was getting a very similar imagery around this sort of reroute and the clunkiness with that. So it was always a nice confirmation, nice validation when other people are reading similar themes in the energy. So part of this clunkiness, it may bring up times where you may go, wow, is it me? Is what I thought everything was going well. Like, or, you know, I was feeling bad and now all of a sudden I feel great. Can I trust that? So there's these sort of ways that we interpret what's going on from a personal perspective as if we're the ones in charge of all the things. And it's not, it's a collaborative effort here, right? There's a collective. And so one of the ways to work with the clunky energy is to just tune in and ask percentage wise, how much of this, like what I just felt, that how much of this is the collective percentage wise and how much is me and my stuff? Because it's always going to look like your stuff because it's coming through your filter, your life experience, your lens, but it's not necessarily your stuff energetically that's at the core of what you just went through and experienced. It's the same thing as when you walk into a room, you feel a vibe of the room. And for those of us that are empaths, we not only feel the vibe, we will either be super elevated by the vibe or we'll feel very drained by the vibe. So, again, yet another reason to strengthen the system, our beautiful systems, our sacred vessels of bodies that we get to hang out in for this lifetime. Now, with that, so one of the ways to work again is just to sum that up is to check in what percentage of this is the collective that's affecting me right now and what percentage is mine. And it's just in the simple awareness and the simple asking of the question that the energy will shift. That you will release, like you're like, oh, that was 70% of the collective. Okay, I can let that go now. I can just let it go. So you can kind of just let it go and then come back to your spiritual consistency, your spiritual practices, your power of three. And, as always, I would say, connect with what brings you joy and helps you feel nourished and taken care of and really kind of like builds your vitality and your overall well-being, right? To connect with people that are helping you do that and also are doing the same thing. It really does make a huge difference. So with that, that sums up the energy for October as the wild ride life is, especially the last couple of years and the years that are coming. I'm so grateful that you have tuned into this energy read. May you, keep it top of mind and hold it close in your heart and use the tools, please do, because they really will make a difference. And this is, um, my service that I like to offer up in the world. So comment below, let me know how it worked for you. If you have any, questions about it, I'd love to hear that because it gives me kind of feedback in terms of like what other specifics I might provide for you, whether it's in the free content or, other offers that I have. It helps me to take the pulse of what's actually going on out there. So I would love to have your comments and of course, invite you to subscribe to this channel and check out my website and the offerings over there, vasmith.com. All the information will be down in the description box below. Probably should have told you all that at the beginning of the video, but it's there. So go have a look and lots more goodies that I'll be sharing with you. But check the description box. There's links to freebies, to a collaboration community that will be starting soon. And the Sacred Vision mentorship is in there, and just all the good things, So thanks again, and I'm wishing you well for October. Enjoy the adventure. Bye. See you.